My question...
Does she look aligned? Clear, isn't it? It's easy to see.
My question is on dreams. And I know that we were talking about sleep there, and sleep is such a fundamental part. And then the dreams, as expressed by Abraham, is also a way of us understanding whether or not we're in alignment. So what happens then when you wake up, when you spend time tuning in, turning on and all of that, but then you have like what I would call a nightmare?
Well, what that means is, and it's nice when something like that occurs, because what you think and what you're thinking in your wake state and how you feel about it and what manifests always match. We call that post-manifestational awareness. In other words, once it happens, you can say, oh yeah, I recognize what I was thinking and how I was feeling around that. The dreamscape is an advanced announcement of that also. In other words, your dreams give you an indication of what the balance of your thoughts are. Only the benefit of them is that you do not have to live them out. In other words, it's much better to have a dream of bankruptcy than a bankruptcy. It's because when you have a bankruptcy, now you've got to deal with it. When you drive your car off the cliff, then you've got to deal with it. Where when you do it in your dream, you don't have to deal with the broken car or the broken body. You just have to clean up the vibration around it. So look at your dreams as announcements to you to give you an indication of how you're doing vibrationally. And you know, it's interesting. When someone has a nightmare, we always say that the wonderful good news is you've been asking for clarification about what's going on in your vibration. And the dream is just a vivid announcement. In the same way that you say a picture is worth 1,000 words, well, a dream is worth millions of words because it gives you the whole picture. It gives you the whole clear picture of how things play out given the same sort of vibrational offering.
I tend to be more confused than clear because I don't understand, either I don't understand my dream or probably more correctly, I don't remember it completely. But I just remember sometimes the fear of it. So that's why it doesn't make sense to me.
Here's another reason that dreams are helpful. When you go to sleep, you withdraw your consciousness and you reemerge into pure positive energy. When you wake up, you step right back into the vibration where you last left it. Isn't that interesting to know? So when you go to bed at night, if you have been basking, if you've been appreciating, if you've been remembering the good things of the day, if you're running over in your mind things that will be wonderful tomorrow, what happens is you set the tone for your reemergence. This is something that most people don't understand. They put monitors on you and they give you all of this erroneous information that implies that your dream is taking place all through the night, that you reach a certain pattern of sleep and that's when you dream. But the reality of it is your dream is something that is downloaded and you have full recognition of it in the seconds as you were coming back into consciousness. That's because what the dream that you think you have dreamed all night, what's really happening is there is a vibrational, relational comparison between who you really are as source energy and where your vibrational patterns have been in your wake state. And so when we'll say this slowly so that you can really hear it. When you, let's say that you wake up from a wonderful dream, and as you wake up, you're lying there smiling about how delicious it was. What that means is when you put yourself to sleep, you are in a place of alignment. So when you had your reemergence during your slumber time, you reemerged into pure positive energy, and when you awakened, you are reemerged right into pure positive energy. So whatever was going on vibrationally, you translated it through the lens of who you really are. Okay. But if you wake up from a nightmare, that means when you put yourself to sleep, you were in true vibrational discord to who you really are. You managed to go to sleep, which means you reemerged into pure positive energy. Ah, what a blissful time that is, like dying. Pure positive energy, leaving behind all doubt and fear and worry and all of that stuff. But when you woke up, you came back into the vibration where you left it, and that's why you translate it as a nightmare, because the vibrational difference between who you really are and who you were when you went to sleep, thus who you are when you were waking up, is quite different.
Right.
We've never said it clearer.
Okay.
So, If you wake up from a good dream, say, I'm doing all right. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing in terms of my thoughts. If you wake up from a bad dream, you say, some room for improvement. Jerry and Esther. Esther has always been a very easy, ready sleeper. She can go to sleep easily. She sleeps however long she has. She usually almost always woke up refreshed. And then they bought their first monster bus. And Esther was very excited about the bus. She was excited that they would be flying less. She was excited that they would always have their home someplace close to them. She was excited that when they get off the ship, for example, they're 10 minutes from home. The other day, Jerry said, I left that at home. And Esther realized he didn't mean home in Texas. He meant home in the bus. He's calling the bus home. That's how it is feeling to them. But when they bought their first big monster bus, Esther loved it when it was parked and was terrified of it when it was time to drive it down the road, because it was a lot to learn how to manage. And she didn't know she was afraid of it until she began driving it, and then she began hearing from other drivers of big buses all of the things that could go wrong. And Jerry, on her first drive that was more than 2 miles, they'd been driving it a little bit, and then on the first drive out, he decided that that would be a good opportunity to read the manual to her while they drove. And there was a section in it that talked about a giant spring that would come into action in case they ever lost air pressure and their brakes wouldn't work. And this giant spring would all of a sudden spring into action and it would grind them to a halt on the highway. And that there was a probability that they would lose control of the bus during this because the spring was rather abrupt, and it would only happen if they lost air pressure. And occasionally air pressure is lost in these buses, so they should watch it very carefully. And they are driving on Highway 40 from Knoxville to Asheville. And as they are driving up this mountain pass, now it is getting darker and darker and darker. And now the fog is descending. And now the lights are flashing on the highways that say fog area ahead. And now there's barricades on the roads. And they are driving this big bus. And Esther is watching in the rear view camera to see if she is in the lane where she is supposed to be. It was a white knuckle flight. And finally, Esther couldn't stand it anymore. And Jerry, who had not driven the bus at all, she said to him, okay, it's your turn. So Jerry gets behind the wheel of the big bus, and Esther can hear fear in him as she can hear his mouth going. And then she begins watching the rear view camera to see if the tow car is in the lane where it belongs. And when Jerry is off the road, which he was quite a bit, it took him a while to figure out how to get that bus where it belonged on the road, Esther would say, you're in the dirt, you're in the dirt, you're in the dirt. It was a terrifying drive. After that, she didn't sleep well for a while. And her dreams were dreams of, like in the cartoons, 2 wheels on the road, 2 wheels off the road, out in space. Now, it took her a while to realize that she had some vibrational work to do. She had to talk herself into acknowledging. She began saying things like, wait a minute, we don't do irrational things, and we don't have to figure this out all at once, and I don't have to know everything that's down the road ahead of me, and we're wise enough to know whether we can manage something or not, and neither one of us has ever bumped into anything. It took quite a bit of talking herself into alignment before she began to have good night's sleep again. You see what we're getting at?
Yeah. Yeah.
You never have a bad dream from a place of stable connection, ever.
Okay.
And if you're having a bad dream, take it as the indicator that it is time to clean up your vibration about something. And then clean up your vibration and begin sleeping better and having better dreams. Dreams are wonderful.
Yeah.
Because humans often cover up the way they feel with a smile. But you can't cover up the way you feel with a dream. It's going to show you exactly how you feel.
One more question now on the sleep issue. There are some times when I just feel overcome by tiredness. And if I go for and what I want to do is go for a nap. So given I should do what I want to do, I would go. But it's 20 minutes isn't long enough. It could be 2 hours.
Well, when you're overcome by tiredness, understand that it's not for slumber that you are reaching. It's for a releasing of resistance. We said earlier that the faster your stream moves, the more it behooves you to move in the direction of it. So when you get a fast-moving stream and you offer contradictory thought, it wipes you out. It knocks your knees out from under you. It makes you feel like you need sleep. And the reason that you're reaching for sleep is because at many levels you recognize that sleep is letting go of resistance and reemerging into non-physical. And so we would encourage you to, instead of running for a nap when you feel that way, sit and breathe more. Say to yourself, I might need slumber, but I might just need a long drink of water. And I might just need a long drink of water and some deep breaths. And I might just need a glimpse at something beautiful. I might just need some conversation about someone I love. I might just want to look into the face of my cat or the face of someone that I really care about, or into a beautiful flower. In other words, look for your refreshment in other ways. And you will discover that you can bring yourself back into your power easily. Sleep is not the way back into your power.
Yeah. And is it just habit that makes you want to reach for, let's say, the bed before you'd reach for the glass of water, or to go out for a walk, or to do anything else? Is that just habit?
We understand that, but that is a withdrawal from what's bothering you instead of attending to it. Okay. In other words, that's like going to the doctor for the medicine rather than figuring out what the vibrational root of the disease is. They call it dis-ease for a reason. Yeah. Ease is downstream, dis-ease is upstream. It's a splitting of energy, you see. Yeah. So we know it's easier, it seems, to take action, but so you take the action and you have a bad dream, and you wake up and you're still enervated. You've rested. Now you're further behind than you were before because you slept for 2 hours instead of tending to what you needed to do. You see what we're getting at? And so it's resistance that makes you tired every single time. We don't want you to sleep because you're exhausted. We want you to sleep because you want to reunite completely with pure positive energy. We don't want you to sleep because you're trying to withdraw from a troubling world. We want you to get your world into the perspective of it not being troubling, but being wonderful. And then we want you to sleep because you want to cavort with pure positive energy about how well your life is going.
How many hours is the optimum?
It is a variable, and it is such a variable that it's not something that we should state, because then those who are sleeping more will turn upstream and those who are sleeping less will turn upstream. Okay. Here's what we would say about it. When you understand that the true benefit of slumber is realigning with source energy, and you find ways of realigning through meditation and through appreciation, you'll discover that sleep becomes irrelevant to you. Don't you notice, have you ever been depressed? That's when you want to sleep the most, because that's when you need the most relief from your depression. Yeah. People who have experienced hypnosis have been told, and most agree who have had the experience, that 10 minutes of hypnosis is like a few hours of sleep. And it's because it's a time when they are guided out of resistance, you see. So you don't have to go cold turkey. Just begin saying to yourself, I don't need as much sleep as I thought I did. And I've been using sleep as an escape. And now I'm working on tuning in, tapping in, turning on. I don't have anything to escape from. And then you discover that you may sleep a little while, but you'll wake up. And you didn't wake up because something woke you up. You woke up because you were rested. You woke up because there are things you want to do. Often your inner being will wake you up, and in your mind you will be hearing something that is an answer to something that you've been asking for. Like, should I buy the bracelet for my wife? The answer to that is always yes. Always, always yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.